Hello, and welcome back to World Crafting. I am your host, DJ, and I am joined as ever by Ezekiel.
Hello, I'm Ezekiel.
Today, we are going to be continuing our story about
Which story? There's so many.
the story we call Shattered Soul Shards.
So say that again,
This will
but like
be
way more pronunciation.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
Shattered Soul Shards.
Now say it 3 times really fast.
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, fine. We continue with shattered soul shards. Soul.
Shattered Soul Shards. This is part 3, season 3, whatever, of this story. If you have not listened to the other 2 episodes, you should do that
They're really good.
first. Part 1, obviously, first, and then part 2.
Now,
Anyway,
listen to
all right, so last we left off, the protagonist just dealt with the Wolf Queen, I believe, and he went to find the man known as the Seeing King. And who this Seeing King is he was a guy who was there on the day that the caretaker's soul was shattered, and one of the shards is embedded into his chest.
into his
Right?
chest.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Into him.
yeah. He's got like a crystal. One of the soul shard.
Tony Stark them.
Yeah, Tony
The
Stark.
arc reactor in his chest now.
Do they glow?
Um,
We need to talk about the scientific. Do these crystals glow?
I'm sure they glow. Absolutely.
Are they all the same color or are they different colors?
Um, that's a good question. Maybe it depends depends how big it is. And it depends how big it is and
And
how used it is, maybe. Because here's what I'm thinking. Okay, if you have a shard that you don't use, it's going to be one color, like blue, let's say. And then as you use it more and more, as it gets older, so to say, it's going to change to a green. Or maybe it can be like a corruption thing. The more you corrupt it, it turns to red instead of blue. But now that just sounds like Star Wars.
you must corrupt your crystal. Turn it to the dark side. I don't know.
I don't know. See,
You could just have
I'm still kind of conflicted on this because the shards, I think originally I wanted the shards to be just kind of generic, all the same, and then, but it's fine. They can all be different in their own ways. Some of them have different powers, depending on the size and the shape, maybe, and the color.
I mean, it could just be a surface level difference. Like we don't have to do like full on mechanics if you don't want to.
Okay, right here. I have an idea. Okay, so there are two different types of shards, we'll say, in the grand scheme of things. There are the shards that didn't get stuck in anything, or just the shards that got scattered across the land, and then there are the shards that got stuck into stuff. And the shards that didn't get stuck into anything, they're all kind of just generic and plain. The sizes are different, but pretty much everything else is the same, is what I'm going with right now. But the other shards, the shards that got stuck into stuff, those kind of took on the traits of the thing that they got stuck in and sort of adapted a new personality almost. Like if a shard got stuck into a tree, it takes on a more woody appearance and
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know, maybe it has like a brownish glow or like a green glow or something. And it does more tree things. I don't know, what do you think of that?
I like it. I think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, it just gives it that much more flavor. That's all we're doing. It's just adding some flavor to the world. The world's being fleshed out, so you got to really add the flavor. And so what? So you have a crystal that's in the Scene King's chest,
Yes. Yes.
and this crystal has it become like since like a crystal
This
stuck in a tree
crystal.
turns to tree wood.
No, here's
This crystal turns
here's
like
what
a.
I think this crystal is. I think this crystal is one of the purest, or the shard rather, is one of the purest shards because it almost immediately went from the caretaker to the king because the caretaker king was standing very close to the caretaker. So when the shards, when the soul exploded into the shards, when it shattered, one of the shards went into him, and it just was like a immediate thing almost.
Okay.
Um, and so in my mind, he has a white shard, like a pure light shard.
Is it transparent?
Um, yeah, I like that. It's like a transparent, a glowy, transparent silver almost something.
Can you
You
see
know,
his
just that.
organs underneath his skin
No,
through the shard?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's more just like a Tony Stark thing.
Well,
That's
okay.
what I'm thinking.
I like it.
Um, and so his shard probably, I think, because his shard is so pure, we'll say that he took on more of the traits of his shard, and maybe his shard is so big that he took on the traits of his shard rather
Uh,
than his shard taking on his
Is
traits.
a larger shard more powerful than a smaller shard, or do they all equally give you the
Yeah.
same infinity for basically being skilled at everything you do?
Here's what I'll say. I'll say that they all give you the same voltage, but they have different amperage.
Mmm. Getting science, getting technological on us.
Yes.
DJ, could I have you do me a favor?
Sure, what's up?
Can I have you take your phone and place it upon your lap?
My phone's not anywhere near me.
I know, but the vibrations echo through the room, bouncing off walls and around so greatly like a soul shard. It vibrates, waiting for somebody to find it. As you get closer and closer to it, it starts vibrating more and more, and then you grab it, and you're holding the shard, and it has a message for you.
We didn't establish any of that, first of all.
That's not
Second
canon.
of
We
all,
can't canonize any of that. We can't make that all real. Well,
I guess we could if you wanted to.
we don't have to. We don't have to.
This seems kind of, I don't know,
Yeah, shards. It's just like a cell phone.
gratuitous.
It lets you like Google information. That's why people are so successful at everything they do because they just like the shards.
Google everything.
Kids Giffle are like they contain all knowledge.
Okay.
No, I know we're.
All right, a bit too far.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's too far. Too far.
Okay, so
No, we're gonna. The
the
shards give everybody they basically they give a blessing that allows them to all basically they help them because the helper they're pieces of the caretaker
caretaker.
and he like to help people. And so when you have a shard, the shard helps you do everything you do. So if you're wanting to learn a language, the shard helps you learn a language. You want to learn a skill, the shard helps you learn the skill. Like you are automatically just better at everything than the people without shards because you have a shard that's helping you.
Yes, exactly.
And it makes me think of our main character. He walks into it, or like he gets into this like a bar fight, and he's just like he's just racking people, just dropping people left and right, and a kid jumps up and goes, "You would be nothing if you didn't have a dang shard." And so what he does is he tosses the kid a shard, and then he beats him up and takes it back. I don't know, something funny like that.
You can't beat up a kid.
I shouldn't say it's a kid. It's a young whippersnapper,
It's a troublemaker.
a troublemaker. I mean, he got in
That
his
is
bar fight.
thousands of years old.
Yeah, I don't think that would solve the purpose though. But like a lot of people think that the success that people have is only because of the shards, which kind of
It's
is
partly true.
partly true.
Yeah. It's not completely true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just mostly
It's
true.
just mostly true. It's just mostly true. The shards prolong your life, but you need to have at least two. Or does the shard that blesses you also can you also copy your soul into that shard? That when you die you are reborn. Or do you have to have two
I think
shards?
we established that you have to have two shards.
Okay. What if but then you have to have three shards if you want to have a animal helper or an embodied
An
soul.
animal helper is part of
The first shard?
the blessing shard. That is the shard. Like the animal, you take the shard and you imagine the animal or whatever, and then the shard takes on the form of the animal, and it is your blessing, basically.
And then as you find more shards, you can add it to that animal and it becomes
Yeah,
great
yeah,
or it gains more
that's
properties.
the idea. Yes.
Like the shards, can the shard animal ever begin to talk and become sentient? If you give it enough.
I think we could. I didn't ever. I think we established that the shard animal can talk to the person who owns the shard,
Mm.
but not to other
Like
people.
they can understand each other,
Not
but they
not
can't.
talk, but more, yes. More of an understanding than talking.
They can look at each other and know what each other are thinking. Each
Yeah,
other.
basically. Yeah. Exactly like that.
So
That's
our
what
main
we
character is on a
established.
quest. He needs to find the Seeing King. But why does he need to find the Seeing King, DJ?
Because the Sand King can see
Well,
basically all things that were and that are and that will be.
so let me ask
The
you a question.
Sand King,
Can you see where all the crystals are?
yes,
So they could
can
be
see where all the
returned to
shards
the
are.
caretaker, and the caretaker can
Yes,
reestablish peace to the whole world,
exactly,
take care of everything.
exactly. But the Sand King, because he can see so much, he's a little crazy. He'd be a lot crazy, okay?
Is it the
And I
crystal that's
love
made
the
him
thing that you
crazy?
said.
What
Yes, because the shard is what makes it so he can see all of the things. And it's what made him crazy because he sees all of the things. And I love what you said the other episode, how he what did you say? You said so the protagonist goes back to the
has a vision?
cabin where the shard where the caretaker was when his soul shattered, and then the Scene King was there and he's talking to the protagonist, but he's not talking to the protagonist from the time when the soul was shattered. He's talking to the protagonist present day back then because he doesn't know the difference. Because he sees so much that he can't tell the difference sometimes. And that's why people think he's crazy because he says things and it doesn't make any sense, but really he's talking 15 years in the future, 15 years in the past, or whatever it might be, because he sees so much. So the protagonist is looking for this Seeing King because he can see where all of the shards are.
To find them, to return them to the caretaker. So he
Yes,
needs to go find the Seeing King,
exactly.
and he needs to hunt him down. So I'm guessing he travels around these different cities as he's being hunted by all of the monarchs of and kings and queens of all the land because they want him dead, for reasons. One of them is because sooner or later he will hunt them down and kill them and take their shards to return them to the body of the caretaker. And
So
so,
he's basically the enemy of all of the kings and queens.
as he's also being hunted by other shard hunters because he has the most shards.
Yes, exactly.
And also, we should have it
Yeah.
to where if a shard is returned to the caretaker's puzzle body, it's kind of what I want to call it because it's kind of like a puzzle. You got to put all the shards back in their places. They can't be untaken.
I like it.
They can't be removed. It's like once they're there, it's
Yeah.
like
It
he's base.
fuses back in.
He's base. You can't.
Yeah. And also, the protagonist is really the only one who knows where it is, where his body is. Is because he is one of the few people who is still alive, who was there. And so he's one of the few people who remembers it. And the Seeing King remembers it, but he's crazy, so he doesn't really know what's going on because he's just crazy. So I like that. Yes, the puzzle pieces fuse back in, they fuse together, and they can't be taken out again.
I love it. Sweet. Okay, so he finds a rumor.
Yes,
A rumor
exactly what I was thinking.
of a creature deep in the woods that's claimed to have a shard, and anybody that goes and takes the shard from the middle of the creature dies. They don't come back. And some shard hunters have went, never returned. But other shard hunters, or some just too scared of the rumors. But our shard hunter,
And some go and return,
oh,
and they're missing arms and legs and faces and things,
faces,
and they're
faces.
okay,
How?
just calm down. And they're rambling about things.
Without their faces?
Okay, forget the face.
Yeah, they did. They forgot it. They don't have it anymore.
Okay, so they ramble because they
Oh,
their,
even better.
their brain
They-
gets scrambled.
They walk out of the woods holding their decapitated head in their arms as the head rambles nonsensely because it's no longer connected to the lungs. It's just like mumbling and it's staring off into the middle of space. People don't know how these bodies are even still alive, but they are.
Oh, that's scary.
You're the one that
Endless
said the people
sportsman.
came back without the faces. This is.
Yeah, I didn't say decapitated.
Well, you said they didn't have faces.
All right, so continue. What's the creature in the wood?
It's clearly an ancient tree. But the ancient tree is taken care of, or the ancient tree takes care of the Seeing King. Or do you want it vice versa?
Oh, I like it that way because the Seeing King can't take care of anything.
No. The tree takes care of,
Crazy.
and every time a shard hunter comes to either get the tree's shard, because inside this tree embedded in it is a shard as well. They're wanting to either take the tree shard or take the Seeing King's shard, and the tree has to protect the king. And so what it does is it like its vines will, cause like its roots will come out of the ground and wrap around people's arms and then capture them there. But it doesn't kill them. They're forced to either chop off their arm or chop off their leg to escape. Because the tree knows
Fine,
that
just
fear is a great motivator.
right.
And so sometimes there'll be a really powerful shard hunter, and the tree has to use its vines to chop off the person's head, but then the vines are like inside, like will embody the person, and then the vines will walk off with the little bit of the sentience of the tree left, and they'll move the mouth of the. This is you crazy. Why did you have to say they didn't have heads? As they walk out, they're like holding their own head, but the tree's vines are like inside the body and like puppeting it, and it's making noises, but no words come out.
Well, I didn't say heads. I said faces.
Oh, they don't have faces?
And that's a good idea.
Oh, that's completely different. That means the tree.
Okay, no,
Eat-
stop.
eat
You're getting
certain-
hung up on the wrong details.
Okay, what's the details I need to get hung up on?
The details that you need to get hung up on is that the tree is taking care of the scene man, the scene king, and the tree is responsible for all of the fear and all of the legends that surround the scene king, because he uses fear and stories to communicate his agenda of trying to keep people out of the forest.
The tree is communicating by.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Because
All right.
the tree got personified. Because the shard.
So our main character, he
It
finds
says
this tree. He finds the tree. But can continue about the personification.
Personification.
Yeah.
Because when the shards hit something, they operate differently from when they just go out into the world. So they personify the things they embed it into instead of just falling to the ground or whatever. But the protagonist hears these rumors and he says, This sounds like some sort of shard creature. So he wants to investigate. He wants to investigate it. So he goes to the woods. What happens when he gets to the woods?
Well, I mean, he finds the tree, and the tree captures him and wraps around his hands and his legs and his arms, and it floats him up, and it brings him close to the tree. The crystal within the tree pulses as these two knots in the tree that look like eyes begin to move and examine him. And the tree whispers inside of his own head, no words being spoken. What's a tree's voice? What does a tree sound like? Like creak.
Treebeard from Lord of the Rings.
You see something. I don't know. How to Treebeard?
That was good. Keep going. That was good.
Seek a deep crystal. Something like that.
Yeah, perfect.
And the tree like takes the thoughts of the main character and like reads them.
I like it.
And the tree goes, I will not let you have him. And he begins to pull on his legs and his arms, and he begins to stretch. And then a voice rings out, and he yells, Stop, ancient tree. I have foreseen something involving this man. The tree like lowers him down and sets him on the ground. And then the Scene King walks up.
And he gets uncomfortably close to the protagonist.
Uncomfortably close.
Like, just ridiculously close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, eyeball to eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gazing right into his
Right into his
eyes. And he says something like, he was there when I was there.
I foresee a future full of death at your hand. And I also see a future of life from your hands. I don't know, the result.
And he says, I wonder, which will you choose? And he just leaves it at that and walks away.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But the main character needs to ask him where all the crystals are at.
Yeah. So the main character follows him and starts asking him questions and looking around and stuff. And the tree just kind of watches. And then the main character is asking all these questions, but the Scene King doesn't answer him. He's just kind of like, I don't know, like Yoda on Dagobah, just moseying around doing random things and being not very helpful at all.
Like he'll walk around, he'll pick a flower, and he'll sniff the flower, and then he'll eat the flower.
Yes, and then he'll say something like, I saw that flower when it was formed. I see it still.
That's creepy. Is this king This king's creepy.
He's not creepy, he's just weird.
This is weird.
Yeah.
So he just does a bunch of like weird stuff. What kind of weird stuff does he do?
Well, he kind of like says things like, no, a cow is not bigger than a horse, but a horse is better than a cow. And you're like, what is he even talking about?
And then
So basically,
I just had an idea.
at some point in the past or the future, someone was having that conversation, and then he just subbed in to that conversation randomly.
Yeah.
You know how you just think of something sometimes and you don't know where you or why or how you thought of it? It's kind of like that. His brain just sees something and just subs him in, and then he just has the conversation with himself in his own mind, like he's there when he's really not.
I like it.
What's your idea?
I feel like he should turn to the main character, and for like a moment of clarity, he goes, and now you're dead. And then he turns back to what he's doing.
And he just walks away and does whatever, starts humming or whatever, and the main character is just like,
Or
protagonist is just confused.
Or
he
even
stands
better,
there for a minute.
He turns back and goes, you're still, he's like, oh, you're alive. I saw you die. But he doesn't know if he was like past or the future.
It's like, you're supposed to be dead. Huh. Strange thing, isn't it?
All right, so how does he get the information
just shrugs his shoulders
out of the Scene King?
He just kind of waits, and the Scene King just says something.
What does he say?
He says, I once knew a man who was so good at his job. It was like it wasn't natural. Or something like that. And he just tells him about some guy who has a whole bunch of shards somewhere, but he keeps them secret. He keeps them hidden. And like he's not a king. You'd expect him to be a king with so many shards, but he's not. He's like a magistrate or something. And he just has one town, but he owns everything in it, and he owns the whole town basically. And he runs it with an iron fist, and he takes all of the shards, and he kind of keeps everyone out who doesn't need be in, and he's very just tyrannical stuff there, type stuff there. And the Sand King is kind of just talking, and the protagonist puts it together. Doesn't really tell the protagonist so much as the protagonist is just listening and figures it out. And then the Sand King stops and goes, "You stay for dinner." It's like the morning or the middle of the night or something. But he doesn't know. He thinks it's time for dinner. Because he's crazy. That's what I'm thinking. What were you thinking?
I like it. He finds out the king knows where all the shards are at, and he can see the people with all the shards. And so the main character does what what do you think he would do? He kidnaps the king. Kidnaps him and has to get out as the tree tries to kill him. But what he has to do is he has to fight the tree, and then he takes the shard from the tree. So he has that shard now. And then he has to take the king, and he kidnaps the king, and he gets out of the forest, and now he has a crazy king in his backpack.
It fits him in his backpack?
Yeah,
I like that. So
throws him over his shoulder.
The here's what I think happens. Something like this. Okay, so I don't know if the protagonist sees the shard that's in the tree or if he has one or something. But basically, the Sand King notices that the protagonist is noticing a shard somewhere, and he goes, "I have one of those." And he kind of opens his shirt and he shows him his shard in his chest.
Oh my goodness.
And then he says something like, "I know where all of them are."
Mm.
And the protagonist just goes, "All of what?" And he says,
No, the protagonist is smart. Like he knows. You know where all of them are.
right, but he can't believe it. He's like, "There's no way he's talking about what I think he's talking about." And he says, "The the caretaker's soul. I know where all the pieces are." And the protagonist is like, "Cha-ching!" It makes my job a lot easier. He doesn't actually say that, but that's what he's thinking, probably. And then he decides to kidnap him.
So he finds out from the crazy king, from the Sand King, where a bunch of shards are, and it's by this magistrate that's in a town. She's like, "You've established all." And so he kidnaps the king, gets out of the forest, barely alive. He has to pull out his sword, and he has to do some sword play that looks really cool. He has to fight all these vines and these limbs and stuff.
But he takes the tree's shard, right?
Takes the tree's shard. There can be more than one of these trees in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
But then when he takes the tree shard, the tree still talks.
The tree dies. It still talks to him through the shard?
It still talks to him through the shard. He puts it in his pack, and later when he looks inside the pack, there is a small, tree that's growing out of the shard. There's a little crack in the shard, and the tree, grows out of it.
I was thinking it would just be like an eye looking at him.
Oh, yeah?
Shard. Yeah. The tree is in the shard, just waiting to be released, and he's just watching everything. Ooh, that's a good setup for later on in the season. The protagonist is in a sticky situation, and he pulls out that shard, and he throws it into a tree or something.
Oh, and the tree turns into alive.
It comes alive, and then it just trashes. The protagonist is surrounded by a bunch of bad guys or something, and the tree just trashes all the bad guys. Of course, I don't know what happened to the protagonist Griffin at this point, but
Oh, so right
for
now,
some
I think
reason,
he should take the Scene King and strap him to the back of the Griffin.
yeah. And then he has the Griffin card, the Scene King, because he doesn't want anything to happen to the Scene King.
Yeah, but the Griffin like will land next to the protagonist, and the King will just be nonstop talking. And the Griffin will look at the protagonist like, "Are you serious? I don't want to do this anymore." It's like, this guy's crazy. You strapped him to me.
Like, he'll never stop talking.
He just doesn't stop talking.
He just says nonsense. None of it means anything. So the protagonist goes to this city and he finds that he's not allowed in because he doesn't have the proper paperwork or something like that. And so he's like, that's fine. I'll just sneak in at night. And he does, but he has to fight his way through because it's not as easy as he thought it would be. But he gets in and
He has a
after
fair stealth mode. Like he gets
yeah.
in, but like it in the stealth mode, he immediately gets seen by like two people, and so he has to, like take them out really quickly, and then he like catches their bodies as they fall down, and then he like lays them against a house like they're sleeping. But he has to do that the entire way through,
Yes.
like to the point where when he gets to the main guy's house, the main guy like catches him because the main character has not passed anybody without seeing, like has not stealth past anybody. The king yells for his, he goes, "Guards, come quickly, we have an intruder," and nobody shows up because they're all just
They're all
passed
just
out.
unconscious.
Like he'll be in a room and somebody walk in on him as he's sneaking through, and so he has to quickly dispatch that person. He knocks him out, and he throws him. He puts him against the side of the room, and right as he's like standing up to turn around to leave the room, another person walks in,
Another one
and he has
comes
to fight that person. He knocks him out, and he lays him against the room. And right at that point, another person comes in, and this happens for at least like 13 people.
and he's just slowly making his way through one person at a time.
Just one person out of there's one person at a time. Just a bunch of like these like really quick 1v1 fights. Because he just can't seem to sneak past anybody.
He's like, I'm losing my touch. I used to be able to just sneak through these places unnoticed.
Maybe he'll go, "Why hasn't my crystal been helping me?" And he looks down and his crystal is gone. The Scene King took his crystal. And so he's basically just been working off his past experience, his thousands of years of experience.
I like it. That's so cool. That's such a good idea. It makes the season so different because now he's too far in to go back and he doesn't have his crystal. He just has the one from the tree. But that's not the type of crystal
The
that
tree crystal
has
refuses
the
to help.
blessing thing.
Refuses to help him.
Yeah, well, it's not one of the blessing.
It's not one of the blessing
It's not
crystals.
one of the successful kind. No, because it got embedded in the tree, so it's a tree crystal. It's a tree shard,
Oh, it's a tree shard.
basically. It's the shard that got embedded in the tree, so now it has a tree-like appearance and personality and stuff. We established this earlier in the episode. Anyway, I like it. That's so cool because it makes the episode or the season so much more interesting. And it gives good reason why he gets surrounded. So now he has to do it the old-fashioned way because you can't just stroll into the palace and find the magistrate and, take care of business, so to say. He has to do groundwork. He has to figure out patterns and, routines and he has to talk to local people to get the information he needs.
Oh, he goes full on espionage.
Yeah, because he can't summon his griffin anymore because the crystal, the shard that he had that he used to summon the griffin shard really is the same shard that was blessing him, so it's gone now.
I'm trying to
So
think.
now he has to do a terrible thing.
What terrible thing does
He
he
has
do?
to make friends.
But the main character doesn't like people like that.
I know. That's why it's such an interesting idea.
The main character doesn't like people like that. He doesn't make friends.
I know.
All right. So he has to make friends. Who does he make friends with?
Yeah.
He probably needs
I
to
don't know,
make friends
some
with like
random people.
no, he needs to make friends with like an annoying kid. The annoying kid is so like socially oblivious to that the main character doesn't like him.
And to the
But
fact that the main character could just cut his head off at any given
well,
second.
the main kid, the little kid said, "Hey, Mister, what you doing today?" And
The main character is kind of hiding from the guards, so he's like trying to keep the kid quiet so that he doesn't draw attention to himself.
it's like, "It's okay, Mister. I'm hiding from the guards too. I took their money." He holds up this bag of money. And the main character's like, "Where did you get that?" It's like,
Speaking of things, I took yours too. Holds up the bag of the protagonist.
and has the tree crystal inside.
She's like, ugh, I'm just not on top of things today.
It's like he's not on his game. He's like, well,
He's just not.
it's like, how did you get the money? It's like, well, I sneak into the castle all the time. The main character is like,
He's like,
do you?
"Ooh,
Like the main character like reaching out
time
and
to
grabs
rest."
the kid's collar and like pulls him in close. And the kid's like, wow. He's like, we're really close to each other right now.
He's like, I guess we must be friends.
He's like, oh, yes.
I've never had a friend before.
The main character's like, tell me how you got into the castle. It's like, well, I go through this.
Don't you think we should be properly introduced first? Seeing as we're friends after all.
I need to ask my mama if we can be friends. Because my mom was
I
from a
don't think she has
stranger.
parents.
All right, well, when the main character, he's like, I don't have.
That's what I think.
He doesn't have parents.
I don't think he has parents. I don't think he has parents. I just don't think he has parents.
I don't think he has parents.
Yeah. So then the main character kidnaps this kid. Is that what you're saying?
No, I kind of want it to be where the kid kidnaps the main character. I don't know how we're.
How does that happen?
That's the thing. The kid's like, follow me. We're gonna go to the secret place into the
And
castle.
Walks him right into a trap and he's like into this locked room, like a jail cell basically. And as the kid's small, so he just kind of crawls out of it, but the protagonist can't because he's much bigger. So what does he do once you captured him?
Well, I mean, the main character clearly, I was gonna think like the kid doesn't really like capture him. He more like he like captures him and swindles him into fighting all of his bullies for him.
So basically he just says, I'll show you how to get into the palace if you beat all of these kids up for me. And tell them that you'll do it again if they're ever mean to me. And tell them that they have to serve me. And tell them that they have to kiss my feet.
And so what the main character
And
does
tell them
is
that they have to do whatever I say.
he kills the kids. No, that's not good. We don't want to do that.
Kill kids.
I mean, he
good
fights
guy.
them and he like stabs one, and then the other kid's like, that was my bully. You weren't supposed to kill him." Like, what do you think I do? No, that's not good. Let's not do that.
Not kill kids. He
Well,
doesn't kill kids.
he punches the kids. Just one punch and then they're knocked out. All right.
Yeah.
All right. He takes him into the castle and I need to have it to where the main character gets a crystal. He takes a crystal back, and one of the crystals that like they're one of the helpful crystals. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're back." And then he starts just bodying people. Like he's just back to bodying people. He's back to being super sneaky. He's back to just being like an expert at everything.
Okay, then what happens?
Well, he finds the what did you call him? The main guy?
Magistrate.
He finds the magistrate,
Magistrate.
and the magistrate looks at the little boy and goes, "Well done. You have brought him to us." No, this is before he finds the crystal. He's still in his weakened form.
Ooh, I got it. Okay, I like that. So he doesn't have the crystal, and then the magistrate throws a crystal to the boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the boy has a crystal and he catches it, and he's like, "Ha, yada yada yada," and he says some things to the protagonist, and the protagonist says some things back, and he's like all mad and stuff, and then he grabs the boy and he picks him up, and then the magistrate points, and all the guards point their spears at the protagonist, and he stops and he puts the kid down, and the kid runs away. And then the protagonist looks at the magistrate and he just kind of smirks just a little bit. And then the magistrate is like, "How can you be happy?" And he's goes on a rant about how powerful he is and how he's killed so many people and he's done all this stuff and he's tortured people and he's murdered children and he's murdered women and widows and orphans, and he's like, "You're at my mercy. What do you have to be happy about?" And then the protagonist opens his hand and he has the shard from the boy. And he says something like, "I was a street urchin once too."
Oh my goodness.
And he stole it from the boy without the boy even knowing. And then he starts bodying people, as you said.
He starts defeating people. So I'm just
Absolutely decimated. What happens next?
well, he gets all the shards, and then he makes his way back to the hut, and the boy follows him. No, let's not do that. He he can't give one of the crystals to the boy because he has to return them all.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he makes his way back to the. He gets all the crystals.
But wait,
What?
he can't just beat. Okay, so hang
You
on.
tell me. You tell me. Tell me what's your vision.
He's in the thing and he bodies all these people, right? The magistrate is still there, and the magistrate pulls out his sword and he's like, "You fight all of them, but they don't have any shards. I have a shard. I have all of the shards." And he's, kind of lifts his arms up like he's gesturing to the room around him. And there's a bunch of shards like built into the walls or something like that. And the protagonist just looks at them and he's like, "What a waste of shards. I'm going to be glad when I kill you and take all of these." And he starts fighting. And then he beats the magistrate. And right before he kills him, he's about to, disarms him, and he falls on the ground, and he starts begging for his life, and he's like, "Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me! I will give you everything that I have. Just don't kill me. I will give you all the. I will make you a rich man. I will give you all my shards." And he's like, "Or I could just kill you and take all your shards, and then I'd get the best of both worlds." But then a bunch more guards come in, and they're all pointing their stuff at him, and he's like, "Oh boy, this is a sticky situation. Not even a shard can get me out of this." And that's when he pulls out the tree.
That's when he pulls out the tree.
Yeah, and he throws it,
What
and
is
it explodes into a tree because
Oh, it like
was,
explodes
I
into a
don't know.
tree? I like it.
Yeah, because the essence of the shard was a tree basically,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. I guess it just kind of materializes the tree, and it kind of destroys the palace and the
A tree comes like breaking out of the roof of the palace and like cracks through the mortar and the stone, and it reaches up towards the sky.
exactly.
But the tree's limbs are like flailing, and it's like grabbing guards and like banging them
So, and all the
around him.
guards are attacking the tree, and the protagonist is just running around picking up all the other shards.
So he's having to like dodge these tree limbs and stuff. But the magistrate is
Swinging
after him,
from
and then you have this
fighting
epic
things.
fight as he like jumps onto one of the tree branches of the tree as it's like growing out of the ground, and then the magistrate jumps onto the tree, and they both have swords, and they're like the swords are like fighting each other, and they're having to jump from limbs and limbs as like the tree branches are like reaching around to grab the people, but they're having to like jump from tree branch to tree branch as the tree grows out into the up into the sky. They're like fighting
I love
inside the
it.
tree. There's this big epic fight.
And everyone in the city just looks over, and there's a tree growing out of the magistrate's palace.
There's a tree growing out of the magistrate's palace. And
So what happens next? How does it end?
well, he defeats the magistrate, but the tree continues to grow. So he makes his way down to the heart of the tree where the crystal's at. And all the power from the crystal has been dispersed, and now is just a dormant crystal. And when he plucks it from the tree's core, the tree goes silent. Not dead, but no longer sentient.
Silent.
And so now there's a giant, massive tree in the middle of the city, and the city's now known as Tree Town.
Tree Town.
Tree Town, and that's where it ends. Unless you have something better, have some more cool ideas.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking for the magistrate. Okay, they're kind of like growing up the tree, up, 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 and the magistrate like cuts into the protagonist, and he's like, "I have you now," or something, and they're both hanging on for dear life, and the protagonist is yelling in pain because he has a sword sticking out of his thigh or his side or something like that, right? And then he drops his sword because of the pain. And the magistrate is like, "Ha, that was your only defense against me." And then the protagonist just like kicks the branch that the magistrate is on, or like cuts it or something, and it falls, and he grabs onto the protagonist's leg, and they're going higher and higher, and the protagonist is like, I don't know, he says something epic right before the magistrate falls. Maybe he has to cut his own leg off,
Oh my goodness.
the one that has the sword sticking out of it,
Oh my goodness.
and the magistrate falls to his death because the crystal he had to keep him alive was
Oh yeah.
taken or destroyed or something. And then the protagonist just climbs down the tree with one leg, and he picks up all the rest of the shards,
Oh my goodness.
and he takes the shard from the tree, and then it goes silent. And then he walks out of the palace, and the boy's just kind of sitting there looking at him, looking at the palace.
Because
And then the
you're the
protagonist,
king now. You know
the only
like
that's a great.
the boy's like, "Am I the king now?" And the protagonist goes, "Sure, sure."
I think. Oh, here's an idea. What about this? So the protagonist also, not only is he picking up the shards, but he's picking up little bits of money and stuff too. And he sees the magistrate's body, and he takes the magistrate's crown because it's gold or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, as he puts all his stuff in his bag or whatever, his backpack, he's walking out, and the boy is just like, "Whoa!" And then he asks the the protagonist, he says, who's in charge now? And the protagonist takes out the crown and he tosses it to the boy. And he's like,
Yeah.
I guess you are.
You're in charge now.
And he just walks away, and he walks out of this, walks through the town, and everybody's just like watching him. I don't know if he either watching him limp or watching him.
Yeah, he doesn't have a
Yeah, I
foot
guess he
anymore.
didn't.
Maybe the Phoenix lands.
Well, he can't summon the phoenix, so he's has to make himself a crutch out of the tree branch or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he limps his way out of town, and he limps his way back to where his phoenix is. And then he has his crystal so he can grow a new foot or something. And that's where it ends.
That's where it is.
With him, no, it ends with him just limping out of the town.
I love it.
Okay, so here's what I'm imagining. Okay. You have this long road, right, leading from the palace to the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking down it, and the boy is watching him. And then he kind of like gets far enough away, and the boy turns around and he looks at the palace, and he lifts the crown above his head, and he puts the crown on his head. And that's where it ends.
That's where it ends. Sweet. What do you want to do? Sponsors?
Sponsors?
Yep. We can do some sponsors.
Sponsors.
I like it. That's where it ends. It ends with the king boy. That'll be like a side
All
quest
hail
now.
the new king.
All hail the new king. He'll be king of Tree Town.
Yeah, it can be part of the Shattered Soul Shards universe.
The Soul Shards universe. Sponsors. We have a sweet D20 system that's currently being in development. It's in its alpha stage. It is a tabletop RPG allowing you to basically create and power scale anything that you can imagine. Nah, that's probably a stretch. But it is one of the most flexible and most in-depth power scaling systems out there. I think it's really fun. It's really cool. It allows you to play in any expanded universe, such as like a fantasy campaign or a Western campaign or a sci-fi campaign, and allows you to basically build any character that you would like. You can build a sci-fi character, you can build a fantasy character, and each character is very unique in its own way, and similar in other ways, because it's all in the same system. But it's really, really cool, and it's in development, and they sponsor us at this moment because I have the contact information. And we also have an author that sponsors us. But
we do have an author. That's crazy that you knew that. So we have an author that sponsors us. His name is Nathan Wayne, and he has written a book called The Divided Kingdom of Sunland, and it's on Amazon. He also has a sequel, The Chaotic Kingdom of Sunland, and he's working on a third book. So go ahead and give that a read. It's a fantasy adventure story about these two thieves who get recruited by this king to go to another kingdom and try to find out what's going on with these secret agendas that have been coming out of the kingdom. And it's full of excitement and adventure and mystery and twists and all sorts of things. So go ahead and give it a read. That's The Divided Kingdom of Sunland on Amazon by Nathan Wayne.
Nathan Wayne. Well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for
First,
DJ. You're
yes, thank you for listening.
so creative, and I love listening to your awesome ideas every single time. And thanks for
Hey, I could say the same about you.
And come back next week to hear an even crazier, better idea. We try to make these each episode
Whatever that might be.
Sometimes we try. But thank you.
Try.
We thank you, the listener.
Doesn't always work.
Yeah. Hey. There's always something about trying. We try.
Yeah.
And we will continue.
I do try.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Tune in next time.
See you next time. Bye, everybody.